Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to our respected lecturer, Madam ALYA. Today, we would like to present about the Cefr and the Malaysian Educational Blueprint. But before we start our presentation, we would like to introduce our suspects. My name is NAJWA.
I am SHAHEERA HUSNA.
My name is ALISHA.
My name is NABILAH.
And my name is NAJLA.
So now we will go straight to the introduction. So the movie we chose is called Beyond the Blackboard. This educational movie is played by amazing characters such as Stacey Best or Miss Stacey, Dr. Warren, Dr. Ross, Danny, Maria, and many others. There were many themes in the movie, but we decided to focus on the main theme, which is the growth of a relationship between a new teacher and the shelter students. Also, many bittersweet moments were shown for the movie plot. This is because Miss Stacey is an ambitious teacher who wanted her students to experience the same as what she had experienced for her school fate, which is to her, school was her safe place. But this is quite difficult as the students' school and life environment were not the same as hers. Throughout the ending of this movie, Miss Stacey became the teacher that she had dreamed to be and made her students feel that school was their safe place too. Next presenter.
Okay, I'll be explaining about Miss Stacey CEFR. Okay, so for listening skills, Stacey is A2 level. She is a good listener and tends to give her best focus while having a conversation, so she will not miss a single information about the topic. Like example was when Maria's father got kicked out of the shelter. He told Stacey how much he loved Maria and want her to have a good future. And so Stacey asked Maria's father's permission to let Maria stay at the house because Stacey felt worried about Maria's education if she let her follow her father with no specific direction. Next, Stacey's reading skills were on level B1. She understood the story she was reading to her student and knew how to make her student interested in the story. She explained the detail of the story perfectly, so her students would not get confused as they were from different age, which meant they all have different levels of understanding. Moving on, for speaking section, Stacey's spoken interaction skill is C1 because she knows the right words to use while interacting. This makes the listener pay more attention during the conversation. As an example, Stacey was telling how eager she was to be a teacher since being a teacher was her dream job to the administration. For spoken production skills, Stacey was at level C2. This is because she can describe something really well. Not only that, Stacey can use this skill to persuade someone to get what she wants. Just like when she met the District Education Office, Dr. Warren, to discuss about the school facilities. Stacey told him about her students' background and how they end up at the shelter program. This scene managed to open Dr. Warren's eyes and decide to help them using the power he has. And lastly, Stacey is good at sending knowledge in the easiest way that is suitable for her student, and this shows that her writing skills are at B1. She can write or identify a word by listening to her students' stories. For example, one of her students told her background story and how a policeman helped her and her brother from their mom's wrongdoings. Stacey would describe their students' action in one word, which also taught her students new words that they never heard before. I'll pass it to the next presenter.
So now I'll be talking about the character Danny. In the aspect of understanding, Danny's listening skill is C1. She seems to understand extended speech, although it is not properly structured. For example, in this one scene, Danny understood Stacey's instruction by answering no. Although before that, Danny only answered the instructions with silence. But all of a sudden, he answered no. This showed that Danny understood Stacey's instruction. Next, for reading skill, Danny is A1 level. This is because Danny understood some familiar words that were put on a poster in the classroom. For example, Danny was talking to Miss Stacey and read the words anxious and perplexed that was put on a poster in the classroom. For example, Danny was talking to Miss Stacey and read the word anxious and perplexed. She said that I'm also a little anxious and perplexed while reading the words on the board. Moving on to Danny's speaking skill. For spoken introduction, For spoken interaction, Danny is C1. He was able to express himself fluently without showing much visible expression. For example, the students were sitting in a group for discussion, and in this scene, Miss Stacy was asking Annie if she wanted to share anything with the class. Then Danny participated by asking Annie how she got there without much effort. Next, for Danny's spoken production, he is B2. He has the ability to clearly state his opinion on an issue. For example, Danny pointed out his thoughts clearly to Miss Stacy about what he has to say on Jack and Terry. He said that both of them don't care about the school as they are not their children. Lastly is Danny's writing skill, which is B2 level. He was able to write a short note or letter for someone like Miss Stacy and other simple words like his name when he was taking a test. For example, there were these two scenes that showed Danny writing a letter for Miss Stacy and another scene where he wrote his name for a test. That's all from me. I'll pass to the next presenter.
I talk about Maria. Maria is a 12-year-old student who used to live in El Paso, which is a city in Texas. So for her listening skill, she is considered to be A2 level. Because she understands short and simple messages from other people and announcements made in school. For example, when Miss Stacy announced the exam, Maria showed a look of attentiveness, and when the exam started, she quickly started writing on her paper. That shows how Maria was paying attention to Miss Stacy. Next one is her reading skills. Even though there are a limited number of scenes, yet she can be considered to be an A1 level simply because she understands basic words and she is familiar with her classmates' names and Miss Stacy's name. For example, in this one scene, a set of music composer names were written on a whiteboard, and Maria had to choose one name from it. And the name that Maria chose, Miss Stacy played the music, so it shows how she knew whose song was being played. So next, I will talk about her writing skills. She is considered to be A2 level because she can understand and write short and simple notes. She wrote a personal farewell letter to Miss Stacy. She wrote about her emotions, how she moved to El Paso, and she wrote how she will never forget Miss Stacy. It shows that she can convey her feelings into words. So the next one is her speaking skills. Her spoken interaction she is considered to be a B1 level. This is because she can start and maintain a conversation. She can also talk freely throughout the conversation. For example, she was able to, in a phone call, she was able to talk about her current life situation in her new place. And when Miss Stacy was about to cry, as there was tears in her eyes, Maria still continued the conversation by saying that she would never forget Miss Stacy and her dream to become a teacher is still going on. The next one is her spoken production, and she is considered to be a B1 level. This because she was able to describe her life experiences in simple ways. For example, she was able to talk about her ambition, her family history, which was in El Paso, and reasons how she felt when she moved from El Paso. That's all from me. Next, I will pass it to the next presenter.
Next, I'll be talking about Sam CEFR. For his understanding in listening skills, he is B2 level. He is an independent user. This is because he can understand extended speech from Miss Stacy about a topic or instruction that he is familiar with. For example, there are scenes where Miss Stacy asks who wants a fruit cups, and Sam raised his hand to show that he understands what Miss Stacy is talking about. For his reading skill, he is A1 level. He might be a basic user because we were not able to find any scene that show his reading skills. Nevertheless, he might be able to read short and some familiar words. Next, his speaking skills. For his spoken interaction, he is on A1 level. He can only interact in a simple way by asking and answering simple questions that he is familiar with. For example, there are scenes where he suddenly said to Miss Stacy that he said that I like that because he saw her wearing a bracelet that he made. The next one is spoken production. He's on level A2. He can speak and use simple phrase to express what he feels. For example, there are scenes where Sam said, I don't think it's good to yell when Miss Stacy asked what it meant to be respectful. The last one is his writing skills. He can write a simple and short postcard because there are scenes where he write his Valentine's card for his father and he is on level A1. Next, I'll pass to Ines.
Alright, so for the last character, which is Grace, based on Grace's understanding, we have identified that she is an independent user with the B1 level for her listening skills. This is because she can understand the main point of a clear standard speech. To illustrate, when her teacher, Miss Stacy, asked Grace if she wanted to pin the card on the board, she then stood up and went straight to the board and pinned the card without making any fuss. Other than that, for Grace's reading skills, we have identified that she also has a B1 level, which is an independent user. Grace was able to understand text that consists of high frequency to the related language. Thus, she can read properly, though there was a pause when she was doing her reading. For instance, there was a scene where her mother, Candy, who has a difficulty to read, had asked her daughter to help read out what was on the paper. To continue, for her speaking skills, her spoken interaction has a high level, which is C1. This is because she was able to express herself without making any fake expression. Her real expression can be seen clearly on the scene when Grace and Dana ran to Miss Stacy to report about what had happened to Maria's father. She looked very concerned for her classmate's situation, which is why she went to tell about it to her teacher, Miss Stacy. Meanwhile, for her spoken production, she is at the level A1, which is just a basic user. She only uses simple phrases and sentences to describe her curiosity. For example, one of the scenes when Miss Stacy played a music tape on a radio and they had to guess it. If any of them answer it correctly, they will get the record as a reward. Grace is pretty unsure of what she will learn from the music, so she asked her teacher what they will gain out of the music tape. And last but not least, for the writing, we have identified that Grace is just a basic user with an A2 level of her writing skills. She can fill in forms with her personal details, such as writing down her name and answering a test paper. Looking back at the scene when Grace and her other classmate had their impromptu test, Miss Stacy had asked everyone to write their name on top of the paper and answer as many questions as they could, so that Miss Stacy will be able to determine their grade levels. That's all for the CEFR level for all of the characters. Next, I pass to SHAHEERA.
Thank you, Ines. And now I'll be continuing about the ways to improve teaching and learning. Okay, so the first shift of the Malaysian educational blueprint, which is holistic, entrepreneurial, and balanced graduates. This shift is an opportunity for students to have hands-on experience by doing an activity such as fundraising and teaching soft skills. Students can organize some fundraising events to enhance creativity. With this, students will know how to handle an event without others' help and can also sharpen their communication skills throughout the event. Furthermore, the students can upgrade their soft skills to prove their ability in certain skills. Example like problem solving skills and time management. Problem solving taught students to think of a solution for a problem in a short time, while time management taught students to prioritize their work by differing which tasks to focus on more. Next presenter.
All right, next, this is the fifth out of the 10 shifts, which is the financial sustainability. So what is financial sustainability? It is a concept that refers to an organization's ability to generate enough income to cover the expenses and maintain its operation over a long term. So for the benefit, better learning environment for the students. Looking back at the movie, the school itself does not have any proper organization system to handle the student efficiently. From that, the school is most likely all over the place. The student did not have a proper desk and books for them to sit and learn. With that, by creating a financial system, the school can have a better facilities and a better learning environment for the student and even the teacher. And all allow the student to get their school supplies. So when it comes to financial sustainability, the government must be professional and be helpful to the society that are in need by providing funds to school at the rural area and school shelter. With all the funds provided, it will allow the student to get their school supplies. Next, I'll pass to Nabila.
Next, I'll be talking about the suggestion that is based on 9 shift of the Malaysian educational footprint, which is globalized learning. It actually involves using digital technology and online learning platforms that can be accessed anywhere and anytime. The first one is it allows a wide range of learning material, classes, and experts from anywhere. For example, there are online tutoring platforms where students can connect with qualified tutors for any subjects that they want to improve, and it also provides access to digital libraries and databases where they can find diverse collection of academic papers, research articles, and ebooks. The next one is it improves students' ability to acquire and utilize knowledge. With access to a wide resources, they can explore any subject in depth and pursue their interest in more personalized way. The last one, it improves digital literacy skills. They can become familiar with digital tools and technologies. It can improve their ability to use computers, software, and online resources effectively. For example, students can use presentation tools like Microsoft PowerPoint or Canva to create engaging multimedia presentation. Next, I'll pass to ALISHA for the conclusion.
So for the conclusion, we have understood more on how to analyze a character's level of CEFR and why each character have a decimal level for each of the CEFR languages. There are 3 reasons. The first one is difference in age. This is because every character's speed of growth is different. So even when students receive information, all the characters had different ways of processing it. Some of them may have had a few minutes to process it. Some of them may have immediately processed it. So it depended on each of the character that was analyzed in the movie. It can also be because of their family background. This because some of the characters surrounding limit their opportunity to enhance their CEFR skills, and some may have given the opportunity, but based on the movie, most of the characters didn't have enough opportunity to enhance their CEFR skills. Last but not least is because of their parents' treatments. This due to due to the parents' way of teaching them. The students are influenced by their parents, so it shapes the character's level of CEFR. Hence, that is why each character have a different level of CEFR. That's all from us. Thank you.